Hello, water signs. Welcome to your weekly Oracle Insights. As always, keep in mind that this is only a general reading. Always take what feels right and with what does resonate within your own life experiences during this time. If you would like a personal reading with me, please contact me through the email I put in the description box below. For the month of June, I'm offering a special called Inside Out, and it's a reading that was created to resemble a little bit of the Gemini theme season we are currently on, which is all about duality and contrast. So if you would like to know more info about that or any other of my tarot services, just email me. Or if you would like to donate and support my channel, you can also do so by following the PayPal link, which is also down below. So water signs, I do feel like the common energy you have here is seeking peace. I really think that some of you want to be at peace with yourselves, with people in your life, with situations, and it feels like you keep being tested to find this state of being. I really feel like some of you you have a philosophy about life and about how things should be that might be very different from those that surround you. And so of course that this sometimes might create a lot of differences and a lot for some of you, a sense of being alone or a sense of being apart in terms of beliefs from those that, again, are gravitating towards you. And this week, this might be a theme that is particularly in focus due to some challenges or situations that might arise that might bring this into confrontation. I do think that as well, being that the common energy for the three of you is the Rider, and I'm using for this week the Lenormand Oracle deck, which is one that I really love, is that there's action, progress, and new factors arising. Again, I think that you're going to be, for some, I have to say that I feel like it's thrown with something you're not expecting, and in being at awe or needing to react fast and adapt fast to something, again, that you were not seeing coming. This is the first thing that I really get a strong feeling about, is that there are sudden forces and circumstances and situations that are forcing your adaptability, but of course your sense of leadership here. I also feel like some of you need to take the reins of control a little bit here, to hold the reins tighter. It's like having this firm, sense of direction and reaction, and not being afraid as well to assert yourselves or to affirm yourselves in a more direct manner. Some of you are being called in order to deal with whatever all of you are dealing with specifically. I feel like some of you are being called to be decisive and direct, which means that I also feel like some of you are trying to go in circles about situations or trying to deny the upcoming conflicts because you want that sense of peace, because you want that sense of harmony. But it might be for some of you water signs that during this week this might be really tricky to achieve. Do not, especially for those of course that have been really neglecting the situation, including yourselves in it, there might be a confrontation. And I think that for some of you, this confrontation is needed in order to either free yourselves from a condition in your life that was not serving you, or to actually get that same amount of peace that you have been looking for. I feel like some of you have things to say, and until you say it, you won't be, you will still have like a heavy chest energy here. So really take things out of you, because that leads to contain all of that. It leads to not only feeling, of course, bad because you're feeding on this negative state of and feeling in prison, trapped within your own self, but also it leads to deception. It leads to a lack of understanding and growth and harmony. I do feel as well that for others of you, there's progress and challenge, which means that they're still challenging, of almost like nagging, and it's a little bit of like this irritation force, but that is pushing you, again, especially for water signs that have been too stagnant or too passive about situations. I think that all of this irritation or all of this incapacity or inability to find a point to rest is because some of you have been sleepwalking through situations, and it's like this push to make you act and say the things you need, do the things you need, and establish the things you need in life. I also feel like for Cancers that are not doing this themselves, you might be, thrown with something you were not expecting, like someone saying something to you that you were really not like seeing it coming, or receiving news that are really like moments of what the hell is going on, or news, mail. There's a lot of things coming your way that, it's not necessarily bad, but I just feel like it will serve as a certain wake-up call. And of course, usually we don't really react well to those wake-up calls because they push us beyond our sense of, beyond our limits, and they also test our ability to see beyond our own self, our own thinking, our own reality. And I think that some of you have been very self-absorbed and not seeing what's on the sides of something here that is happening and relevant to, as well, of course, establish relationships and even to achieve the goals you want in ways that are more conducive to growth. Now, for a Cancer energy, I think that you have here strikes of luck, especially there's a sense of divine timing for something lucky to happen for some of you, but it might not come without a fight or without a dispute. Now, I feel like some of you might have strong spiritual beliefs, ideas, dreams, visions, things that are very, very, very personal for some of you Cancers, that you're seeing something as the stars. So you have high hopes, high ideals, high connectedness, right, to concepts that the majority maybe around you may not even start to understand. And I think that for some of you that are trying to find, for some of you Cancers, I feel like some of you have not been applying all of this dreams and vision and spiritual wisdom. You have not been applying it in your daily life or in your personal relationships. And I think that you're going to be in need to do so, either because there's an emergency of some sorts that requires your help, your healing abilities, your insight, or your vision, or because I think that in order to, as well, for some of you Cancers, in order to find resolution in conflict, you need to tap into the stars. So you need to be one step ahead of everyone else around you when dealing with problems that might be as well about power struggles, because you have here the whip. This is a card of tension, but also stimulation, physical activity, sexuality, attraction, disputes, sometimes a little bit of a violent tone to it. But because it's with the star and the clover, I feel like whatever you're being teased or provoked or pushed to do during this period of time is to bring fortune into your life. I also feel like there's happy coincidence or happy events, synchronicities, things that you are going to be there to, you're going to be able to see before everyone else, because you have that foresight. Some of you are really highly intuitive, and this intuitive energy of you is in display here. Even if you are unconscious about some of your powers here. Again, this week there might be just a weird coincidence, a weird event, especially like imagine some of you Cancers might dream with something and then have a weird sense of understanding what that dream represents in the waking life, or actually seeing something happen in the waking life that you have dreamed about or seen or felt. So really trust yourself, but also apply it. I feel like some of you need to apply and need to fight for your dreams and ideals to come true. Luck is coming your way during this week, but again, taking charge of your personal power and also sweeping away from your life, taking away from your life a little bit of the things you don't need that are holding you back seem to be relevant. For Scorpio energy, I do feel like finances are a source of both progress but also stress. I feel like some of you are a little bit concerned during this period of time this week with your finances. You might be feeling like there's a lack or a loss of financial security or conditions that, of course, are concerning you. Some of you are exploring new options to attract income. Sorry, to attract income and more conditions, of course, that would make you feel more settled. Some of you might unexpectedly need to pay something or, again, provide for financially for something that you were not planning to. For some of you, you are worried during this week. It's like finances associated with travel or trip. It might be that you want to travel somewhere or plan a trip of some sorts, but worried about the financial aspect of it. So you're trying to plan, or maybe some of you have some money saved for holidays, right? Vacation or a trip that you need to make, and suddenly you feel like you don't have enough to make this happen, or there might just be something really worrying you about money. Sometimes the fish card also is about spirituality, and it's about our sense of connection, right? This card also sometimes represents a sense of success. It's like, I feel like for some of you, Scorpio, if where you are is not giving you enough financial satisfaction or just emotional fulfillment in terms of work, leave. Especially for Scorpios that are already considering this is the ship card. Better horizons lie ahead, which means that for some of you, either you need to leave the current job, employment, activity you are, or you need to make it move in a different direction. Of course, that for some of you, this is not exactly about trip dislocation or actually changing jobs. It could be that this is about moving the direction you have been exploring so far. So I also feel like for some of you, you might go somewhere, you might have some sort of trip during this week that might be both mind awakening but also worrying for some of you, either because you're going to again spend more money than what you were thinking of spending in this trip, or just because you might have an awareness that where you go it's much better than where you are, and so this urge to leave. And it's funny to have the fish and the ship in the same reading because this really talks about the flow, right? Water, current. I think that if you feel the urge to go somewhere else, especially to improve your career status, your finances, your abundance, your well-being. Sometimes the fish is also about well-being, is also about our soul. If your soul is kind of calling you to go somewhere, you should trust this instinct. I think that some of you might be dreaming about a destination, a place. You might have this obsessive thinking of going somewhere, and I think that there might be a strong spiritual purpose for some of you having that urge, especially if it's also a place that it's near the sea or has a lot of beaches or a lot of connection with the ocean and water. I really think that some of you should listen to that. For Pisces, I feel like for some of you Pisces, you might feel like your social sphere is troublesome. For some of you, there might be some withdrawal, cutting loose with friends or associates, acquaintances, groups that used to provide some sense of company or well-being, or there's just some decisions to sever ties with people in your life or others doing this to you that might make you feel alone. For some of you are just battling the sense of loneliness and actually needing to do the opposite. Some of you, the experience might be about making decisions to connect with others, to leave the tower, to leave the isolation phase, to leave, your world, and go explore a little bit more of what's out there, because this is the garden, and this is all about the public sector. Some of you might be dealing with a lot of public, either you might be going to a public event or going to a lot of like public institutions and things like that, needing to deal with this, or needing to go to a place of those sorts of places to cut ties with something. So this could even be about you going somewhere to terminate, a contract or a dealing, or something that might just not be, something that might not be working for you. But I also feel, again, that some of you might have some stress, pain, or disappointment with friends, with communities, groups, people you are involved with. There might be some pain associated with this. Or if it's not the pain, again, as I said in the beginning, for the common energy for the three of you, it's just a sudden experience of something that it's either said or done that hurts you, and it makes you withdraw to think about it, right? So it could be that a friend tells you something you're not expecting, or you do this as well to others, and then it causes other people to withdraw. It could be, but it could also be that there's a sense of sharp tongue here. I think that there might be some quarrels with you and others during this period of time, especially for people, like, I feel like the people some of you are with during this time, they might differ so much, their vision of the world with yours, that this creates a sense of separation, even if you are with them and if no conflict arises. I think that you are just feeling more lonely or more separated from people or the social element in life than what you would like to. So I hope you have a great week. Thank you so much for all of you that have been liking, sharing, subscribing, commenting, and donating to my channel. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. Hopefully we'll see each other soon. And again, if you'd like a personal reading, just email me.